I'm going to share with you today about a teaching on an invisible force that can be released into your life that can cause you to experience rapid increase. And I want to begin with a story. I'm thinking about the different jobs I've had in my life that have been fun and fulfilling. And I think one of the jobs I enjoyed the most was the summer job I had in college. And I was hired to work at Disneyland, selected to be at Disneyland. And back then it was really hard to get into there because they wanted people from all around the country with different badges that had different states. And to be local and get in was really difficult. But I was selected and they chose me to be one of the ones to drive the Mark Twain steamship. And that was so much fun. It was really a crazy job. We spent 15 minutes, I would spend 15 minutes taking tickets, 15 minutes walking around the boat, making sure nobody jumped overboard, 15 minutes driving the boat, and then 15 minutes on break. So it was kind of a fun job. But I had the night shift. And at 9 o'clock, we would be out in the river and we would stop the boat. And here we are on the river, just the most beautiful scene. Trees, it was like being in Yosemite. And then this announcer would say, "Ladies and gentlemen, we attract your attention to the castle because we understand that Tinkerbell is going to be coming." And as he says that, all of a sudden this Tinkerbell starts flying down with searchlights on her, and she's got this magic wand, and she waves this wand. All of a sudden fireworks go out everywhere. And it's beautiful anywhere you see the fireworks, but to see them over the forest and the trees was just spectacular. And as I thought back on that, they made it appear like her wand released a magic touch that caused the fireworks to go off. You know, like she had a magic touch. Magic touch. That reminds me of that hit song that the Platters had years ago. How many remember the number one song in America, The Magic Touch? Where were the rest of you? Probably not even born yet. Do you remember the Temptations? Yeah, okay. And they had the number one song before that. What was it? Oh, come on. The song going. The Great Pretender. Okay. And then their follow-up number one song was The Magic Touch. And I just love the words of it. It said, you know, you've got that magic touch. It makes me glow so much. It casts a spell. It rings a bell. That magic touch. Oh, you got to experience it. We do just play it. They got it. If they don't know the Platters, they got to at least experience it.
You've got the magic touch. It makes me glow so much. It casts a spell. It rings a bell. The magic touch.
All right, stop. Oh, you got it now. I think you should, let's sing it to somebody. Just look at them and tell them they got the magic touch. Play it again if you would. And look at somebody and just tell them that. You got that magic touch.
You've got that magic touch. It makes me glow so much. It casts a spell. It rings a bell. The magic touch.
Yeah. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Yeah. What is that magic touch and how you can release it to greater power in your life? And I just want to say it is so great to be back here and to hear you share that story of our first time here 39 years ago. It doesn't seem possible, into school, and how this church has grown. You two are just the most amazing couple, not just because of the growth. Yeah. But the excellence. I tell you, I've been to over 70 countries. I've been to more churches than I could ever count. And I want to honestly say this is one of the greatest churches I go to anywhere in the world. And I hope you just recognize that. I mean, the excellence is here through the staff, through Margaret, through Jean, through Tim, anybody I talk to. Just such quality and such excellence. Let me give you one little behind the scenes story, because people can just verbally say things, but I want to give you an example. I was here in the fall a few years ago, and as I'm walking in the hallway coming in from the parking lot, this beautiful, scent. It was autumn. It was pumpkin spice. And I just walking down the hallway, who would think to spray pumpkin spice in the hallways? That's just that extra touch. And I made a comment about how much I liked it. Where'd you get that? And said, oh, it's a commercial spray we get, and they showed me the bottle, and they said, oh, that is really great. I love that concept. A week later, at my front door, are two bottles of pumpkin spice spray sent from the church. See, that's what I'm talking about. That's the kind of excellence that makes the difference. Yeah, I'm privileged to have with me my daughter Wendy and her husband Josh, and here, it's so great to have them. Wendy is a financial officer with America's largest social media consolidator, and Josh runs a chain of Airbnb hotels, very different concept, and just so great to have them. We kind of centered this weekend around coming to see my granddaughter Chloe. She goes to West Point, and they had a volleyball tournament at St. Louis University. And so it was just great to see her. Now, those of you that were here 2 years ago, if you remember, I taught on finding your why. And I gave the example of Chloe playing volleyball at high school. And when I was at the house, remember she was showing me how she'd just done I forgot to find out, what do you call it when your feet lift 500 pounds? Bench, press? Squat, whatever it is. Anyway, and then she was going upstairs, and she's got her gym outfit on, and she gets into this tub, and she asked me if I just dumped this bag of ice on her. And I'm thinking, why are you doing this? And she told me, because, if I'm really good at this, I can get a scholarship to go to the school I want. And so she overcame the adversity because she had a why. She's now got a scholarship to West Point, playing on the varsity team. See, when you find your why, you'll overcome adversity. When you find your why, you'll stick with the program. So it's just been great to hear. This last year we had a great event, and also a tragedy. But I want to share the great event first. We did a family reunion. When I teach an increase, I want you to know we also experience it. This is my family. And you can just see, isn't that beautiful? Just 4 generations there. And in the white top and the blue in the middle, standing next to me is our wife, Sharon. And unexpected, she passed away this last December. And so we've had to deal with that transition. And just thank you to my kids for just surrounding me with so much love and understanding and helping me in this next season of my life. But I remember, Wendy, do you remember the dinner we had here in St. Louis with General Norman Schwarzkopf and former commander of the American forces in the first Iraq War? Some of you are so young you didn't even know there was 2 of them. But anyway, and I asked him one of his secrets of success, and he said, I've come to recognize that life is a collection of seasons. He said, it's a series of beginnings and endings. He said, victims hang on to seasons that are over. Winners recognize the memories and experiences of the old season, but they embrace the new season. And that has helped me so much to recognize that seasons end, but it doesn't mean everything ends. It just means now embrace that next season of your life. And so that's what we're doing. And it's been exciting to see some of the new things that have been happening in our life and in the ministry. I teach on increase. An increase is getting a different mindset, a different perspective on things. And it's breaking the power of scarcity and lack thinking off of one's life. It's recognizing the limiting beliefs that hold us back, where our conscious mind might be trying to strive and get success, but our subconscious is programmed to decrease. And so we're fighting an internal battle constantly, and get those 2 in unity so we can begin to experience everything that God wants us to have. And when we get that increase, it affects us in so many ways. It affects our relationships. It affects our attitudes, not just our finances. It affects how we respond to things. I came across this recently, and I thought, what a great example of an increased thinker. This guy's car broke down at Pizza Hut. And so he said, my car broke down outside a Pizza Hut earlier today. Now, what does the average person do if their car breaks down? Call a relative? Call AAA to come and fix it or to take a look at it or whatever? This guy was an increased thinker. Look what he did. He said, I ordered a pizza to be delivered to my house and got a lift from the driver. See, that's what I mean. It just causes you to respond differently to situations in life. I want to mention to you, we do have some resources out in the lobby. If you'd like to get some material that would help you to change your thinking and change your life, I believe it's one of the greatest investments you can make. Warren Buffett, who's one of the richest men in the world, was asked, what is the greatest investment that a young man can make? And he said, investing in yourself. He said, because when you change, everything else around you changes. We have a series called the School of Increase. It's 6 of our leading seminars. We have it available in CD and also in flash drive. It's our #1 seller in the secular arena. It starts with the Great Multitude Mindset and then 5 other series in the Increase. We have it on discounted if you want to get it. That's available back there. We also have our Great Multitude Mindset series. That's our best-selling series in the spiritual Christian audience. And that's, if you're going to get one series, that's the one I would get. It's a story of the apostles who fished all night and caught nothing, and within the same 24-hour period had the greatest catch of their lives. And how you can rapidly make changes in your life. And the last thing I'd recommend to you is our book, PowerPoints for Increase. It's a devotional for leaders. 101 Bible-based success strategies. We have it in the book format, but if you get the audio format, the book is free. And so that's available back at our table. I also want to give you an invitation. If you'd like to get together with an incredible group of leaders gathered from around the world, we have an Increase event coming up in the Palm Springs area of Southern California. That'll be the end of October. The church has a group rate, so you can come for half-price registration. And we have cards out at the table, and they'll have the download QR code, which will tell you how to get your half-price registration. And so you can get information on that back at the table. And if you'd like to hear more of me, we now do 1-minute social media posts. And so you can go on Facebook or Instagram and get these little 1-minute nuggets that come out about every 3 days and listen to those. Or you can also get a coaching nugget we do for leaders. It's a 5-minute format that comes out every Thursday. And you can do that by going to our app or increase.org and just put your email address or phone number down there. And every Thursday, you'll get a great coaching nugget. So I want to talk to you today about the power of favor. The power of increasing favor in your life. Proverbs 22:1 says, favor is better than silver or gold. Favor is better or more valuable than silver or gold. So what is favor? I looked up in the dictionary and it says favor is being preferred. Favor is being highly esteemed. Oh, and here's the one I really like. Favor is the likely winner. When you have favor in your life, you're the likely winner. My definition of favor is an invisible force that automatically attracts good things into your life. Favor is an invisible force that automatically attracts good things in your life. Having favor is like having surgery, and they put this magnet inside of you. And wherever you go, that magnet attracts good friends, good ideas, good people, good feelings, good things in your life. And it just automatically works because it goes wherever you go. When you walk in an elevator, favor's there. When you go into a store, favor's there. Wherever you are, favor goes with you. And when you recognize you have that force, it's a powerful thing. I've had so many instances in my life where I could tell you, I could literally see in the invisible world favor just leaving from me into that room and everything changing because of favor. I've told the story before about how I had a successful automobile leasing company in Southern California, and one day I took a customer's car in for service to a nearby Chrysler dealership. And the owner of the dealership was out there, and we talked for a few minutes, and he told me how things had been so bad in his other store that they had decided that day they were closing the store. And he said, how's your business? I said, we had the biggest month ever. And he said, we need to talk. He took me into his office. And while I'm talking to him, that spirit of favor was released. And he turns to me and he says, I'll give you 22% ownership of that dealership if you'll come and try and help me save it. Talk about a change. I took a car in for an oil change and drove out as part owner of the business. I mean, that's gotta be favor. And I won't get into the story, but God gave us a supernatural plan. In 90 days' time, we had in the top 10 in Southern California, ended up buying the store. But favor is what created that opportunity for me. Another one I could think about is I was in Hawaii, and 3 days in advance of our event, just to rest and relax and get ready for this big event we're gonna be doing. And Jess Gibson, one of my friends from Springfield, Missouri, calls and says, hey, we're doing lunch today at the Royal Hawaiian at the Surf Room. How about coming down and join us? I'm having lunch with this network marketing person. I said, no, I don't need to get a network marketing pitch when I'm trying to get relaxed. And at lunch, I'll do dinner, but not lunch. Lunch is my son time. But I felt to go. And I went there and found out he couldn't care less if I signed up. He was a big mucky muck. And he says, tell me your story. I started telling him a little bit about my story, and he said, I'd like you to come and speak to one of my groups. I got a convention of 3,000 people at Tantera coming up in a few weeks. Could you come and speak? I came and spoke and did incredible. Out of that, I got a speaking engagement in Dallas of 5,000. And that September, I was standing before 20,000 people. And we did $150,000 in product sales in 2 hours. See, that's what favor can do. It can do things you can't do. You might be trying to manipulate, try to make things happen. But if you just sit back and watch favor work for you, it can just do incredible things. So I'm going to share with you some of the keys that can cause you to increase in favor. Because the Bible says Jesus not only had favor, it said Jesus increased in favor. Well, if he could increase, then we can increase. See, when you increase in favor, it means the magnet's getting stronger. When your magnet gets stronger, it can reach out further. When your magnet gets stronger, it can attract bigger things. So there's an advantage to having stronger favor. And for our biblical text, we're going to look at Genesis, the 24th chapter. And Genesis, the 24th chapter, is a story of Rebekah. You might be familiar with the story how Abraham spoke to his servant. And he said, I want you to go to the land of my kindred. And I want you to select somebody, a lady, to be Isaac's wife, my son's wife. Now, it's a side story on leadership, but I think it's a great story when you think about it. He trusted his servant so much. In other words, his servant had proven himself over time to be so responsible and so wise that this man is trusting his servant to select his son's wife for him, who will be the heir to their fortune and determine the destiny of their family. So, I mean, if we could learn how to be that kind of a person, imagine the opportunities that open up to us. But that's not our story today. So we go back to our story. And the first thing I want you to recognize is Abraham recognized that favor was going to be released, but let's get it released in the right location. Favor has a best location. He said, I want you to go to the land of my kindred. I want you to go to the foundational land that our family came from, because that's where a woman's going to be of the kind that we want, that's going to fit our family. He knew there was a location to make this happen. But that's a specific, a general thing. But now we get more specific. We find the prophet has arrived in the city. Now you're arriving in the city. Think about it for just a moment. You've been given the responsibility to find a wife for your boss. You arrive in a strange city. You just arrived in Tucumcari, New Mexico. Where are you going to go to find this wife? Think about it. Are you going to go to the cafe? Are you going to go to the bar? The pool hall? Where are you going to go? It said he went to the well. He took his camels and said, sit down here. We're going to wait at the well. Why did he pick the well? Because he knew that's where the ladies of the city came to get water every day. In other words, he knew, I have to go there to get who I want to find. He first determined what was his market, and then where is my market going to go? Where are they going to be? He recognized something in marketing that so many businesses miss. We're marketing all over the place. We're spending money here and billboards and this and this and this, and we're never thinking about where is our market? What is our primary market? Where do we make most of our money? Where do we get most of our people from? Well, let's focus in on that market. See, that's what I did at our dealership. It's called niche marketing. I said, where do we have a monopoly? Where is the least competition? Where can we best go? And we identified the Christian marketplace, and we identified North Orange County, California. So that's where we spent the majority of our budget. Because we said, if favor is going to be released, let's release it in the best place. So I would say to you, ask yourself the question, where is the best place for me to be? Favor has a location. I was scheduled to speak at a meeting of government officials and business people in the Virgin Islands, and so we stopped over in Miami, and then I was flying out the next morning. We're in the Marriott Hotel at the airport in the concierge room, and up on the TV, they had one of the daytime programs, and they were interviewing this lady, and she'd come out with a new book. It was so interesting. Her book, I forget the exact name, but it's called something like How to Find and Marry a Millionaire. And the thesis of the book was, if you're going to marry somebody, why not marry somebody rich? Now, I don't know that that's the best criteria to get married, but that was what the book was based upon, you know. And so then she analyzed, how do you marry a millionaire? And one of the steps was, she said, you cannot marry somebody you don't meet. Duh. So she said, so if you want to marry a millionaire, you got to place yourself where millionaires are. So she said, you need to live where millionaires live. And if you can't afford to live where they live near where they live, and then go to the grocery stores where they go, and go to the stores where they go. And then if you can't afford that, or at least be a volunteer at the organizations, to the functions they come to. I don't have you know what, Tiger Woods' first wife was a babysitter of another golfer. She was where the golfers were. She was in the right location. And so that's a key part. What is the best location for you for favor to be released? Number 2, favor has the best time. Favor has the best time. It said, he didn't just sit there all day. It said he went there at the time when the women came to get the water from the well. He knew there was a timing. Everything has a best time. What is the best time? You want to propose to her? I guarantee you there's a best time. Get the timing wrong, everything's going to go wrong. We do this weekly nugget, this coaching thing I set out, every week. I did one on this guy. He totally missed the timing. It was really bad. And anyway, he's got his fiance ring, and he was going to propose to her. So he ties the engagement ring to a balloon, and he didn't realize it was a windy day. And he walks out of the jewelry store, and the balloon and the engagement ring took off. Bad timing. See, so timing is a key part of everything. We went to the Cardinals-Mariners game last night, and I just want to say, it's the first time I've really spent time in downtown St. Louis, and I loved it. There's so much excitement and vibrancy down there now. I don't know what they're doing, but it was just fun being down there. And the game just vibrated. You know, it's not a baseball game anymore. They've put together a field with an entertainment center featuring baseball. I mean, there's so many more other things going on, you know, and things to do and see in the stadium. I mean, man, if you don't go an hour early, you're missing it. It's not just about the game. But I thought about this because I knew I was going to be teaching on timing. That picture, it showed the speed of his pitches. One of them was 98, but then the next one was 67. His success in pitching was he was changing the timing to mess up the swing of the batters. He realized success came in timing. And the batters, it didn't matter who was the strongest and who could hit the most home runs out of that. They had to have the right timing. It didn't matter how many muscles they had. If the timing was wrong, they're striking out. But in life, timing is like that. It is so important. And so I'd say to you, are you maybe missing on timing? Like, you know, everything, jokes need timing. Selling needs timing. Buying needs timing. Everything's related to timing. So if favor is going to be released into your life, start thinking about what's the best time to have it released. Number 3, increasing favor involves in having the best look. Now, put yourself in the situation of the servant for just a moment. He's arrived at the town. He's got the camels down by the well. He's waiting for the women to come to get their water. The women start coming. How's he going to decide which one to start a conversation with? What's going to be his criteria of all these women of the one he's going to talk to? And it tells us right here. It said, she was fair to look at. She was fair to look at. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean she was a beauty queen. It means her countenance, something about her. It could be the eyes, the glow. Something about her caused that attraction to begin the conversation. And I think that's so important for us to think in terms of, if we want to have favor, what is the best look that we can have to have that favor? I mean, Pastor introduced me today. I walk out, I'm wearing black jeans, but I wouldn't have had the same feeling from you if I walked out wearing a swimsuit and a tank top. See, you would have had to overcome my looks in order to have me be able to minister to you. So there's a tie-in between how we look and how we appear in favor. So I would say to you, what is the best look for your website? What is the best look that you should have? When I'm speaking to an athletic group, I'm dressed differently than if I'm speaking to a group of bankers. I change my attire to who I'm speaking to so that I have favor when I meet them, and part of that is visual. How about your vehicle? Do you have favor? Does your vehicle give off favor, or do they have to overcome your vehicle to see you? Okay? If you need service in your house, and you call for a handyman to come out, and he shows up in this truck, what is your impression of how the quality of work he's going to do? What do you think the paint job's going to look like? And in turn, what if instead he comes out looking like this truck? Can you see the difference? A total different feeling based upon what you see. So favor has a look. So ask yourself, what is the look? Also, favor has a best attitude. And one of the attitudes we find here in the story that releases favor is generosity. The servant comes and he sees the damsel in what does she say in the conversation? She said, can I get you some water? Oh, no, you could pass over this, but I want you to catch this. This is critical. Her focus instinctively was on what can I do for somebody else? See, how few people have that focus today? They're thinking about what's in it for me? What can I get? What can I, self-oriented. But instead, no, she's the opposite. She recognizes the call of God in her life, which is the call of God in our life, and that is that we are to be a walking blessing machine. You want to be a witness out in the marketplace? Start blessing people. Start looking for ways that you can give them a compliment. Start looking for ways you can make a difference in their lives in just a little ways. And as you do that, you're thinking, but Bob, I'm barely making it. And if I start tipping more, giving more, I'm going to have less. No, you're not. Proverbs says the generous person shall be made wealthy by watering others. You water yourself. By watering others, you water yourself. Now, I didn't used to be a generous person. It wasn't until I got a hold of increase and I changed that in my life. But I'm telling you, being generous is one of the greatest blessings. Number one, you feel good because every day when you wake up, you're excited because that day you're going to be making a difference in other people's lives. There's an excitement, there's a joy to living with this. But not only that, you're planting the seeds that's going to cause greater blessings to come back into you. But not only was she generous, oh my goodness, this lady was an increased thinker. Because increased thinkers are always thinking, how can I do a little bit more? You go to buy a dozen donuts, you open up the box, there's 13, not 12. They're always thinking, how can I do a little bit more? And she had that mindset. Because what did she say? First, can I give you water? But look at the follow-up question. Can I water your camels? Now, he maybe got a glass. The camels are going to take jars. So this looks like a real sacrifice. But because she was programmed that way, I want you to see what happened. Number one, she had the look that caused him to make contact. Number two, she was generous, which got his attention. But number three, when she said, can I water the camels? It was like, bingo, she's the one. And it said he gave her some gold and said, can I come to your house? And a few days later, those camels that she watered were the very camel that she was riding to go to her destiny. Think of that. How many times we don't see the relationship between the giving and the receiving, but it's there. So let's put these all together. Right place, right time, right look, generous, and doing more than what is expected. I had an event happen to me here in the St. Louis that kind of brings all these together. Years ago, we wanted to upgrade our car, and so I decided I wanted to get a black Mercedes 4-door. And we had a partner in our ministry that was a used car dealer that sold Mercedes in Kansas City. And so I called him about that to see if, about buying one. He said, hey, I'll tell you what. He said, if you want, I go to Mercedes auction every 3 months, and it's in St. Louis, and Mercedes gets rid of their off-lease cars and executive cars. He said, I'll take you with me. You can walk the lot, pick out which car you want. I'll buy it for you. So man, talk about favor. Instead of having to go retail and through all the grind, he's going to take me and buy me a car at the auction for what the dealers pay for it. That's favor. So we come out to the auction. It's the last weekend of October. It was a cold day, a windy day. In fact, the next day was forecast to be snow here. And we're just like this, and we're walking around, he and my wife and I are to pick our car, which one we're gonna buy. And we gotta pick 3 or 4 because you never know how the bidding's gonna go, so you wanna have, backup. So we're gonna pick the car, and all of a sudden I lost my wife. Where in the world's my wife? And I'm looking all over, I can't find her, and finally we find her. She's sitting in this little blue Porsche. Apparently there was 300 Mercedes and 1 Porsche convertible. Guess what? That's the one she found. And I said, what are you doing there? She says, well, I turned on the heater to warm it up. And I said, why aren't you warming yourself up in a Mercedes? That's what we came here for. She said, oh, I like this car. She said, it's only got 7,000 miles on it. I think you should buy it. I said, we came here to buy a Mercedes, not a Porsche. And then this little voice says, you could use a midlife boost. So I said, okay, if it's a good price, I'll buy it. Well, we bought the Mercedes. Porsche goes through the auction, and because it was cold and a convertible and gonna snow the next day, nobody bid on the car. I got it for $6,000 under wholesale. Favor. Oh, but there's more. On the next line, I noticed they were selling Infinities, and the price was ridiculous. So I called my stepdaughter, and I said, listen, I know you're thinking of getting a car. I can get you one for this price. She said, oh, buy us one. I said, okay, so I bought them one. And then I called my office manager, and I said, there's really great prices there. And she said, buy this one. And I said, okay, I'll buy that one. And then my best friend calls me, and he says, I got to get my wife a Mercedes. We were looking at a dealer yesterday. Now, get this. The only time in my life I was ever at a Mercedes auction, and I get a call when I'm there from this guy saying, could you buy me a Mercedes for my wife? And I said, it's right here. I bought it for him and saved him $20,000. And anyway, and then I said, wait a minute. I got 5 cars. If I buy 6 cars, I can have a truckload. So I bought one for inventory. That's increased thinking. But all because of that favor and that happening. Oh, by the way, and then it goes even beyond that, because I still have that Porsche. It's now being driven by my granddaughter, Ella, who's a freshman at Vanguard University. So favor is now being transferred multi-generational, and it's still being a blessing in the family. But see, you can increase favor. The Bible says Jesus increased in favor, and so can you. It said God gave Daniel favor. It said God gave Joseph favor. He can do that for you. And in conclusion, that's what I want to do today. I want to pray not just that you have it. I'm going to pray that it increases. I want to pray that it literally surrounds you. The Bible says you can be encompassed or surrounded with a spirit of favor. It can go with you like an aroma, like a perfume. And that favor is going to attract blessings. It's going to attract good friends. It's going to attract ideas into your life. And that's what I'm believing for. How many of you want to have that increase in your life? Let's say this prayer together. Father, I come to you today, and I thank you for your word. And your word clearly shows that you will release favor, that you will increase favor. So I ask you now, increase my favor. And I thank you for the blessings that are coming my way. Now thank you for those blessings. Praise you, Jesus.
Thanks for watching this week's message. One way for you to connect here at Church on the Rock is through the God is For You classes. These classes are designed to teach you about the culture, mission, and values of Church on the Rock and about your God-given design. You can take these classes anytime by going to our website at cotr.org/GodIsForYou. And if you want to know about all the incredible things we have here at Church on the Rock, make sure to visit our website at cotr.org. And never forget, God is for you.